Gathering 2019 on second day, Saturday. Happy Saturday with Jason. How you doing, brother?
Good. What's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for stopping by.
You're rocking along. Yeah,
it's
I know.
Good to see you at the show.
Well, it's always good to see you, man. I mean, seriously.
We know it's a real show when you show up.
It's a real show?
Yeah.
Well, man, look, I'm not going to go on a date with you. I don't care how much you compliment me.
Well, after we cut.
After we cut, yeah, there we go. Drinks and cocktails, right? So, anything new that you'd like to introduce, or better yet, let's talk about the transition first. Things moving forward and how you've been doing. Okay.
Okay, so that's really a two-part question. One of the things that's new that I want to talk about, I won't, but it's the cork. We'll get to that afterwards.
Beautiful.
So that's really the big thing. New corks. We just ran a Kickstarter for those. We're actually going to start shipping those hopefully in a couple of weeks. After that, in terms of 4.7 stuff that we're working on, basically a new X3, which is a 26650. It's hard to say. 3 LED light. And also the MMX type 18650 light. So we're trying to get those out as soon as possible. And when that is complete, we will have all of the Infinity Stones, and 4.7s will be back.
I love it. When that's complete, we will have complete control, world domination.
Well,
Show me your leadership skills.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, is that a new LED or is that just an array, if I'm using the right
For
terms?
the new lights?
Yes.
Both. So I mean, the 16650 light is a single LED. The X3 is 3 LEDs. We're going to be updating that. We're evaluating a bunch of different LEDs right now to just get the performance. And also, I'm focused on color rendering, so I can't have that too low, otherwise I freak out. So again, we're just trying to find the right balance of output and color rendering and beam quality. There is something new in terms of how we are shaping the beam.
Interesting.
It's not like a new technology or anything, but it's just sort of a new application, a new approach to using an older technology that I think is really interesting. I've not seen it before, so I hope you guys like it.
Okay, so are we talking like an application that's pre-LED or just an older application overall?
No, and again, I'm trying to not give it away.
And here I am prying with the pry bar. Yeah. Okay, well, to be addressed at a future time.
Yes, it is not revolutionary, but it's basically something that I think is going to make the lights more usable for a wider range of people and basically allow some customization. So I'm not positive that's going to work out yet, but we're in the process of testing it, and my fingers are crossed.
Very good.
Only one, though, not the two. That was bad.
Yeah. Well, let's get 3 fingers crossed, right? Yeah. Very good. Anything else you'd like to talk about? Is there any new generalized, apps? Matter of fact, I'll just show, we're doing a test in progress here. And there's yours. Oh, beautiful. Now, is yours titanium? Or is that?
No, that is actually an electroless nickel finish, and we just play around with stuff sometimes. I call this Photanium, but I hate faux finishes, so it's kind of an inside joke.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful finish. It does look like titanium, so that's one reason I'm not sure I actually want to use it. But this is my personal light, so I get to do whatever I want.
Right. Of course, you're going to loan it to me for the next year, right?
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, and frankly, this is on loan, as well. And a phenomenal light with the 3 LED. The glow-in-the-dark feature, after it's been on for a while, is something not necessarily that I would personally prefer, but I definitely see the application being something good for a lot of folks.
The good news is the user, you can take out the glow insert. So one of the things we like to do, everyone has different tastes, and to the best that we can, we recognize that and try to accommodate it. So one thing with the Delta flashlight, we make it easy to replace the optics.
Okay.
So if you want a spot pattern or medium pattern or wide pattern, it's easy to get the head open and remove that and change it. You can also take out the glow insert pretty easily, and that's not entirely unique to this form factor, but we've just tried to make it really easy for you to do so you can do it at home.
Okay, I may try and to do that just to see that one off as we continue with the test in progress then.
I guess the one other thing I want to mention about the Delta, and we've had a bunch of conversations about this here at the show, we know there are a lot of 18350 lights out there now, and we were talking about the size, and a lot of the time people are like, oh, smaller and brighter, equals more awesome. And if we're talking about the 900 lumen mini, yeah, smaller and brighter is more awesome. But with the Delta in particular, I like to talk about right size. So essentially, this is designed to fit your hand in a way where you have access to the tail cap button, but you're also not masking the front of the light with your hand. And so for me, I don't know, I have pretty normal size hands, but when the lights start to get really short, the light is actually inside your hand when you're trying to access the tail cap button. So essentially,
Right.
we intentionally make this a little bit longer than a normal light so that it is roughly hand width.
And I found that that's ideal for me personally as well, because not only masking the light, but this guy on high gets pretty hot.
It does get fairly warm, and you also, in order to remove the heat from a light, you actually want to be holding onto the head, and that actually uses your body to carry some of that heat away.
Like a body heat sink.
Exactly, it's just your own liquid cooling system for your flashlight.
I like that, liquid cooling system. Very good. Anything else?
Can I show these off real quick?
Please
so
do.
These, hold on, let me get the prototype facing the right way. So these are the 2 new Quarks that we just finished a Kickstarter on. This is a 16650 format battery. So this is the same size as the previous Quark that takes 2 123 batteries. We ship it with a 16650 because I personally don't like running 2 batteries in series, because that can lead to some problems like fire and explosions. We don't encourage that.
Catastrophic failure is not a good thing.
I try to avoid catastrophic failure whenever I can. So the light ships with a rechargeable battery. 700 lumens max, so we're not going to burn the barn down, but the Quark is really intended to be an everyday carry light, not necessarily an impress your friends light. And I always like to say we make tools, not toys, which is mostly true, not 100% true. But the Quark's really intended to be a tool. And this is the 2A version that just takes 2 AA batteries. Again, it's not super sexy, but it's been around for a long time. It's proven, it works. And again, this does ship with rechargeable batteries included.
And AA batteries are relatively universal, so if you're traveling quite a bit.
They're everywhere, and yeah, so again, this is a great travel light. And no, it's not super tiny, but also when I'm traveling, it's easy to find when you throw it in a bag or something like that.
Right.
So I like it.
And the comment about AA batteries being pretty universal, the 123s are pretty darn universal at this point as well, for the most part.
Yeah.
And price, I know these are prototypes, but do you have a general price point or an expected price point?
So I think I'm right. The retail on this is going to be 75, and the retail on this one is going to be 65. And one of the cool things too, we're actually using a Nichia 319 LED, which is one of their newest ones, and I guess I won't bore you with all the details right now. We have a lot of info on our website. But basically I chose this LED for outstanding beam quality. And it's really the best balance we could find between output and also color rendering.
And you're very particular about
medium.
And you're very particular about what you put into your lights as well.
I mean, I like to think so, and I also like to think I'm not going to pick something that's bad. So I know there are a lot of skeptics about having a lower output light, or even now, which is kind of crazy, people are like 80 CRI, well, I got to have it 90. And I was the guy that started pushing high CRI a while back. I'm very happy with this LED. Like the 80 CRI that this produces is actually really good. So if you're a skeptic, I suggest you try it and then make a judgment afterwards.
Now, for anyone who might be as ignorant as I am, CRI is?
Oh, I'm sorry, Color Rendering Index.
Beautiful.
And that's basically a scientific measure of how accurate the color quality is compared to sunlight. So sunlight's a perfect 100. This gets an 80. The lowest for 4.7s in the current lineup is 75, and basically I won't go below that because it just starts to look bad and I can't handle that. So 75 and up for the entire line.
Now, I'm not asking you to disrespect anybody or put anyone else down, and please don't mention any other companies, but some of the other flashlight or torch companies, typically in that same general category, two AA batteries or 2 123s or what have you. What's their CRI typically? I know it's going to vary.
Yeah, that's actually changing a little bit, and the bigger companies are actually focusing more on CRI, which is one thing I want to encourage, because I think that's one of the most important things in a flashlight. I think it's more important than total output in most situations. So basically, the normal LED that a company might put in a flashlight, where they're maybe also focused on lowering cost a little bit, is in the 60 to 70 range usually.
That higher CRI would be an advantage, especially for say, a paramedic or a medic or an EMS
Right.
person, where it's nighttime, there might be alternate lights around, and they want to do their examination to get color rendition on body parts and
Right.
skin tone, that kind of thing. So that higher CRI is going to be an advantage for that, specifically for that person, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we do have a lot of users who are in the medical profession, and also even military and law enforcement, or if you're a mechanic and you're trying to distinguish fluid color and wire color. We actually have people who are interior designers who are like picking paint and fabric swatches, and you really can't do that without accurate color rendering, because again, what your eyes are used to seeing is 100 from the sun.
Right.
So this is just going to help you do your job better.
Coming back to price point on the Delta, what's your entry-level price point retail on the Delta?
That is an excellent question. I think it is roughly so. We have a lot of custom options on Deltas, so I don't always remember the price. But so this one's $350. I think maybe the lowest one we have is $325, and then obviously the exotics can go way up.
Right. And the exotics would include things like copper, bronze.
Well, the Timascus, and then titanium is actually a pretty expensive material. So these three lights are all titanium, and they start at about $625.
Sure.
And then copper and brass is not a super exotic material, but
10, right? 16 and 10 for the charge?
they're a little more challenging to finish out. And
Right.
we also, like, these are two special show finishes that we've done, so a lot of the time the price is commensurate with the amount of labor that is going into that finish.
Very good. Yeah, these are gorgeous. Just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Jason, take good care, brother.
All right, appreciate
good
it.
one.
We'll see you guys.